So this is probably going to be one of my more popular videos because I imagine it's going to be sent to everybody's family and friends. I know if my dad were still around, I would be sending this video to him, or I would be grabbing him one of these things that I'm going to be talking about today and putting it on him stat, and I would say, I don't care what you think, I'm just going to do this. And things may be different if I had known about this a long time ago. Okay, guys, so what I'm talking about today, I was at a biohacker conference last week, met a couple, the inventors of this device that I'm going to be talking about that has already changed my life and has already changed a friend of mine's life incredibly, right? Incredibly. So what this device is a lot of people see me wearing it, and even my lady that does my hair, I went to her yesterday and she's like, what's that? And I was like, what, the big screen TV on my wrist? And she's like, yeah. And I told her about it and she's like, I need one. And I'm like, you're right, you do. I think everybody does. I am ordering one for my husband and my daughter. Okay, my daughter is 7. I'm ordering one for her too. I'm going to explain why here in just a second. So do you have anything other than anecdotes? I have proof. So anecdotes, to me, anecdotes mean kind of like maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. I have proof. So anyway, maybe you don't mean that, but that's what anecdotes mean to me. Anyway, so today we're going to talk about a friend of mine, Amy Wicks-Horn, which you guys know. She has had Bell's palsy twice. And so for those of you that know Bell's palsy, it paralyzes half of your face, right? And so it's been paralyzed for about 20 years. So the whole, she has to, whenever she drinks, she has to drink out of the side. She can't, and this sounds weird, but she can't use a spoon in the front because the side doesn't work. So it has to kind of go in the side. She has to be very conscious, and has spent 20 years being very conscious of how she's, putting on makeup and that sort of thing. And so with the paralysis, her eye was dropped a little bit. And there was also another thing where, because these muscles aren't doing anything, this whole part of her body is trying to pull against muscles. Your muscles pull against each other, right? And because these weren't pulling back, these just kept pulling more and more and more, which was cranking her shoulder up. And she was trying to do many things to get her shoulder down. 20 minutes into wearing this on the symptom that she was wearing it for, 20 minutes, her eye, which was kind of it's closed a little bit, right? Because she can't control it. Her eye opened up like this. And she was just talking to us while we're eating, and her shoulder dropped. Her shoulder dropped. The muscles were no longer trying to do that thing. And so it showed me proof that this thing works. Because whenever you see, frequency healing and that sort of thing, there are some people that, it's sort of a charlatan thing, and they're just saying that, and it feels very snake oil salesperson. And that's not how this couple comes across by any means, but you just don't know until you see proof. You know what I'm saying? And so whenever I saw the proof, I was like, whoa, right? And so then I gotta watch. And I put it on, and you guys know how I do fasting, right? And the first day of fasting, I fast for about 5 to 7 days, take a couple days off, and then fast again, and take a couple days off, blah, blah, blah. But the first day of fasting is always not the easiest thing to do, because you're like, okay, well, it's still, you're going without food, whereas you had food the day before, and your body has to get used to it. And so what I did is I put it on, there's a little folder for weight loss. Totally crazy. So I put it on the little folder for weight loss, and it goes through, the very first thing it goes through, guys, is addiction. And if you know about sugar, if you know about carbs, there's an addiction inside of that. You guys, every single person at the event that was wearing this watch, no one was hungry. No one was hungry. Like I had to turn my watch off in order to eat. Isn't that crazy? And so for those of us, and this is most of us in the world, guys, for most of us, we are addicted to one thing or another. We just are. And so whenever it runs through the addiction thing, all of a sudden now it's just you. Now you just show up in the world. It's not you behind your addiction to whatever. So if I were still, Amy, you know I love this watch. Heck yeah, I know you do. And just in case you're like, oh my gosh, can I get this watch? The link is in the description of the video. Use my code and you get $100 off, okay? So I want to make sure you get the discount on it. But this is freaking ridiculous. So imagine that I were still going through my alcoholism, right? I'm on the other side of it. Praise the Lord. But if I were still going through my alcoholism, I would be hitting up addictions because I'm no longer at the mercy of anything. It's just me. I just get to show up as who I am, not the person behind the person chasing a thing. Does that make sense? For those of you that have addictive tendencies, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. There's something in there. There's something in there. So anyway, there's other things, and I don't want to like go through all of them, but the ones that I'm going to be using for Nora are going to be, or for my daughter, are going to be the attention ones. So there's things for attention and focus. And so I'm going to be using that for her. So whenever she goes to school, she's going to be able to focus better. Okay. Mike, I'm interested to see what he uses because he already supplements like crazy. So I'm interested to see what he uses. But they also have them for like, you know, emotions, chakras. So there's addictions, anxiety, anguish, despair, sorrow. It's so crazy. Here's the thing is like, you go through this, there's 850 different things, and some of them are ALS, chronic fatigue syndrome, Crohn's, ADD, ADHD, Lyme. There's like adrenal stuff. I'm just kind of skipping all over. I'm going to do the heart one today, the whole heart thing, because if you know the story about my dad, he had a massive heart attack out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. And so I am always super vigilant, I always say that wrong, about my heart and about what's going on with my heart. So I'm going to run through the heart thing today. There's also a thing, a folder for pathogens. And so you just hit pathogens and it runs through 3 or 4 hours. Essentially what it does is it has, I can hear it. It has just a little bit of a frequency that you can kind of hear, but it's sending it into your body. And for the pathogen one, basically, it's creating an environment that pathogens can't live in. And so if you're creating an environment that pathogens can't live in, what do you think happens then? Pathogens lead to cancer. I'll help you with the math equation there. But if you create, and so I'm going to run that once a week. Once a week, I'm going to run the pathogen one, and it's probably going to keep a good, clean environment where things can't grow and manifest, if you know what I'm saying. I wish I would have known about this sooner, but now that I know about it, you're going to see me with it every single day. So there's that. I just wanted to share this with you guys because it's already made a massive difference in my own life, in my friend's life, and I'm about to see it make a difference in my husband's life and my daughter's life. So I just wanted to be able to share it with you guys today. I love you. I will see you later.